half. I'm playing. Not even. And don't mind that grunting sound. It's the damn fan. I hate the damn fan.
Watch the greatest show on earth. FIFA
What?
World Cup 2026.
Okay.
Live and exclusive.
You know what? I'm trying. I will do. And this is proof for Matu that things I don't have. Bobet. Just kidding. I hate solos. I'm sick. Why does my voice even sound like that?
Not your regular milkshake. New Horlicks milkshake with vitamins and zinc. 40% less total sugars. No guilty, only pleasure.
New Lakme Haya 2-in-1 Lip 2 with hyaluronic acid and SPF 30. Lakme 9 to 5.
Yo, do you like adventure, activity, wonder, danger, or pain, suffering, any disease, angel food cake? Ow! You parasites!
Parasitism, a symbiotic relationship in nature where one organism is harmed and the other one benefits. It varies from simple carnivorous or predator behavior, as the organism that is harmed is often kept alive for the majority, if not the entirety of the relationship. These relationships can be found all throughout the planet, ranging from animals, bacteria, protists, HR workers, and of course fungi and plants. There are a handful of plants and plants with disease that also happen to fall under the definition of a parasite.
And if you don't hear the game voice, I do not know how to fix it. I can only put my voice. So suffer with me.
Given my general knowledge in biology, and as a parasite myself, I'm allowed to use any plant that could be argued falls under the definition.
Wait, humans are parasites?
It doesn't matter what form of parasitism it falls under, there are several if you didn't know, as long as it is still just a parasite. Thus, plants that either drain the life of zombies, or mutate or change zombies for themselves, transform the zombie entirely, granted that it's further propagating the plant, or deal some form of effect to the zombies that would be considered one-sided or parasitic, is allowed. There will obviously be some debate for what counts later on, but I'll stick to the more obvious ones to start out. As for the rules, there will be the same rules and rubric as my Summoner Challenge, conveyor belts, pre-picked missions, boss waves, and mini-games, where it's impossible to bring a parasite and do not count. Furthermore, any plants already on the map are free for me to use. As for the rubric tiers of doability, if we forgot, Tier 1 is completely doable, where I don't have to use anything other than standard unbuffed level 1 parasitic plants to win. Tier 2 is mostly doable if I have to upgrade any of them. Tier 3, if I have to buy plant food or buff any plant, then it's somewhat doable. And for Tier 4, if I can't do it from there and I have to use power-ups or non-parasitic plants, I have to put things down. And with that being said, we got started with this time actually starting on day 1 of Ancient Egypt, because I'm not locked, but pretty much all 5 of the first missions in Egypt are automatic wins anyways due to the lawnmowers, so I'll just use it as well as several days after as a chance to introduce the first 2 parasites I'll be using. Tomb Tangler and Lamborghini, these 2 plants are often considered the worst in the entire game, and I'm going to be completely honest here, I disagree when it comes to Tomb Tangler, as I think he's more than worth his money, as he's basically a cheaper walnut that, although he can only be planted on and infesting zombie items, he also slows and randomly feeds zombies, making him a great defensive plant, all for only 20%. I know he can only be used in some worlds, but I don't understand the Tomb Tangler. Tomb Tangler is the best. As for Van Porcini, though, I have nothing nice to say about him at all, and I have to say he 100% deserves the title as worst plant in the game, and I willingly did the reroll thing for him, knowing that he would likely be worthless for this challenge. As for what he is, Legacy is a defensive plant that costs 100 sun and takes several seconds to even activate, spending that time lifestealing around it. This lifesteal attack is abysmally low damage, and you will need 3 whole Vampiricinis to take out a single unarmored zombie. And since he doesn't activate while lifestealing, unless you are almost 3 whole tiles ahead of the zombies, you aren't going to be blocking with your life. Once he activates, he never does his lifesteal again, instead just sitting in his defensive position with that stupid smug-ass grin on his face, acting like he did something important. And lastly, I would say worst of all, but pretty much everything about him is pretty worse, his toughness isn't even that high, being not even 3/4 that of a walnut. But since I have no other parasites available, even though I have 2 others who I could add in right now, it was just Tomb Tangler and Vampiricini through Egypt. And I'm not going to lie, these two definitely did not do bad together, or at least Tomb Tangler didn't, as they were able to cohesively punch through most things that Egypt threw at them. And yeah, Vampiricini was garbage, but since there wasn't really anything else to spend money on early game, and since Tomb Tangler's only 25 and can only be planted on grades, they kind of served as secondary walnuts for Tomb Tanglers, waiting for them to take up the zombies. And it was honestly just bizarre how far I was getting through ancient Egypt with only these 2 plants, though I am keeping in mind that this is still just ancient Egypt. One of the more cool things, though, was that with these missions and the nature of Tomb Tangler being only able to spawn on top of zombie items, most notably tombstones, was that he actually ended up forming a symbiotic relationship with the Tomb Raider zombie, waiting for him to spawn tombs just for the purpose of us finding Tomb Tangler. Thus causing us
Get the fuck in!
Furthermore, Tomb Tangler is also a bit of a sniper, as when
Bitch.
plant included, he will randomly consume an average 2 zombies in each attack.
Suppressant!
But it isn't as random as you think it is, as there were numerous points where he directly attacked the zombies that were furthest down on the lane, oftentimes saving the entire day if he was quick attacking. Once again, I don't know why people hate Tomb Tangler so much. And before I knew it, we were already majority of the way through ancient Egypt.
6 minutes and not on floor 2.
But didn't even feel the need to mention individual players, because we were just able to inch out wins the first try on every single one. This was until day 18, which we unfortunately were not able to do with Tomb Tangler and Vampiricini alone, as it's a brand new defense mission. Now, I do believe that Vampiricini and Tomb Tangler could have taken this if it was just in regards to the zombie horde, but since there's no Tomb Tanglers or zombies, and you can't plant Tomb Tanglers before the round starts, I just don't see the math working in our favor. And I tried this out a few times, but eventually decided we needed to bring in the 3rd member of our team, Sportsman, who is not a great player by any means, but is more than a competent enough of a shooter, and the fact that it parasitizes any zombie and finishes off by transforming them into a zombie. Day 19 was just depressing because there were no tombs or tomb raisers, thus no way to spawn Tomb Tangler, meaning we need to use Spore Shroom again. And he kind of renders the whole day pretty easily, as once again he is a more than competent shooter. Day 20, Protect and Danger plans, we once again have to use Spore Shroom because Tomb Tangler can't deal with all the torch zombies at once, and Vampiricini can't deal with any of them at all. Day 21, Tombs and Tomb Raiser zombies, meaning Tomb Tangler Vampiricini duo is back again, and we wiped the floor with the entire mission, finishing up the whole thing pretty fast.
I call
Day
this
22, with Tomb
tornado.
Raisers and Tombs already on the field, we were once again able to beat the mission with only Tomb Tangler and Vampiricini. Dude, I swear, this plan is not as bad as people are saying it is. And day 23 went the exact same way, with a giant eggs for us to plant Tomb Tanglers on, allowing for yet another almost effortless victory, with the only thing we couldn't beat was the Guardian to our team. Which is a bit worrying early on, as I currently have no way to bust guards, but for now it's a non-issue for us. However, day 24 was yet another planned defense mission, so we unfortunately yet again had to use Spore Shroom to rapidly turn the entire mission into a secondary apocalypse. Day 25, Boss Fight. We threatened to post Dr. Zomboss's Xbox 360 live voice chats on Twitter, and we are back on to Pirate Seas, where we unfortunately cannot use Tomb Tangler at all, simply because there's no zombie items for this world. So, day 1 on of Pirate Seas, we were back to basically using nothing but Spore Shrooms. And so, beginning our trek through Pirate Seas, there's really not much to say early on, as Spore Shroom once again is just a competent plan, especially early game, capable of easily dealing with all the zombies on a world as low as Pirate Seas. So much so that pretty much every single day was going the exact same way. I let the first zombies in the wave get really close before planting Spore Shroom, so we get it to immediately turn it into a second Spore Shroom in the lane for free, and by the time the zombies start consistently showing up, we already have a pretty fortified defense, even without being needed some. Day 7 introduced the Barrel Roller zombie, which, if they get deep enough, they can be a problem. As soon as block, they send tanks into the two adjacent lanes. But don't forget the
Get in! I told you this many times. Just get the fuck in.
of the barrel itself provide for it.
Yeah.
And those they get pretty quickly sniped.
Pick on one thing. Takes up your endurance. Pick on one
So here's
thing.
your first fun fact of this series. Sportsroom has over 100 Gooner games on Steam. Team Time will back to pretty much the exact same things. Sportsroom early on, so you get free sports.
I'm gonna skin you
And then
alive.
using that same hyperinflation.
I'm gonna skin you alive. And if you don't, I will skin you alive.
The exact same way.
And if you don't stop doing that stupid thing again, I will just grief you. Be so careful.
Day 11 with the same too, but I did end up losing some $1. Since I played 2 games early on, and the fact that unlike Toon Tanglers, Sportsroom's plant food effect is fairly random and almost never hits when you want. Day 12 was a broken explanation. Fun fact, what if you machine still in for free some from hospitals and local Walmart, just to give action to the fact of how badly it sucks. In day 13, we are on to the first big hurdle of this challenge, the Sun of Fire mission.
Circle of pressure. Come back when you're a little richer.
Now, most of you probably already guessed this as a sun producer I could use, but in case you haven't, I decided that we will start with Sundew Tangler, a 100-cost invulnerable plant that ensnares a zombie when it walks over it, ignoring helmets and leeching about half its health, producing a sun in the process. They have fairly quick cooldown, but zombies will also stop to eat other zombies out of the Tangler's grasp, finishing the zombie in the process, but also preventing the sun from. Now, I don't think Sundew Tangler is a particularly bad plant. However, as a sun producer alone, I think it's among the worst in the entire game, if not the worst. And that's the core issue, that Sundew Tangler, as our only sun producer, just might end up falling short late game. Fortunately, Sundew's plant food ability allows it to snag multiple zombies at once, and rapidly sun off of them, allowing it to move significantly faster on the sun scale. And after trying
Do not worry, bitches.
flooding the walkable boarding bridge with Sundew Tanglers, we barely produced enough sun to make it past stage 13.
Get in.
Moving on to day 16, we weren't out of the woods yet by any means, but for now we were pretty much secure to get all this thing eventually. Day 15, don't trample
If you can hear the audio. If you can't hear the audio, you are skinned alive, and if you can, you're also skinned alive. Set the heck up, Doggy. I hate this thing.
Who basically lets us effortlessly beat this game by plant
What?
to knock every horde of zombies that shows up into the water immediately. Day 17 was beat 10 zombies in 30 seconds, which sounds
No!
we just waited for the hordes, and we had beaten those
Oh, stupid Brightly.
and then just plant food for storefronts, and bada boom, the world's done. Day 18, conveyor belt, prefix plant, blah, 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 and pair the JKD. And then we get to day 19, which is another sun cost mission, and you guessed it, I've been stuck for this one. As it's also don't let the zombies trample the flowers, and with a plant that relies so much on over zombies, it's taking
Oh,
pretty
wait.
much
We have a distractor.
survive the wave without them trampling
That's
the flowers,
distracting, right?
much less making the sun open. And I tried this over a dozen times, and I'm worried that it in itself might be possible to sundew.
Why the heck does the iCore spill event only happen when I'm not playing Finn?
Producer that's competent enough and still falls under the definition of a parasite.
ৰন্ধা বঢ়া কৰিবলৈ গ'লে এটাই টেনশ্যন হ'ব ধৰে যেন বেছি জ্বলা নহয় যেন বেছি ডুঙৰ নহয় এই সমস্যা দূৰ কৰাৰ এটাই উপায় এভাৰেষ্টৰ পিঠালাল এভাৰেষ্ট পিঠালাল সঠিক জ্বলা সঠিক ৰঙা Root smelling musty in the monsoon mood. Try Butter. Removes musty monsoon odor with freshness that makes
Get
it
to the damn elevator.
But because of this stump, I'm going to have to call it here, with the fate of this challenge being completely uncertain. Will Sundew Tangler be able to get its shit together? And if it does, will it even be enough to last this challenge? And what horrible means do I have on my sleeve? The only way to find out is to watch the next part.
Your chili smelling balls are no match for mine.
You really think you're fast enough? That's what the gas is for.
Okay, and that's bleach better.
Hello everyone, welcome back to seeing if we can beat Plants vs. Zombies 2 with only parasites. Previously, we were able to complete virtually all of these procedures using only Toon Tangler and Gambit Shield. And we actually got past the initial first Sun Requirement mission on day 13 of Pirate Seas with only Sun Toon Tangler. However, our problems were only just beginning, as day 19 was another Sun Requirement mission, and as I soon realized due to another creator's challenge, that beating this day's Sun Requirement with Sun Toon Tangler alone is mathematically impossible, and we needed another parasite. Now, I did come up with a solution for this, but first I want to discuss the big idea that other people had, and that was sunbeam. People were arguing that this could be considered as a parasite, as they believed the bean itself, causing the zombie to drop sun, was seen as how it was reproducing.
I love
the
trolling
zombie, causing it to leak sun because of it. I think this is a similar argument to bean therapy. It morphs the zombie into something else, and in turn makes it more susceptible to repeated dosages of the impair. But largely, I can't guarantee that the sunbeam is reproducing itself, and that the sun is not just an excretion of its natural function. However, I did end up trying to beat the day with Sun Toon Tangler and Sunbeam, and I struggled quite a bit. So I decided just for once, if I use walnuts, you can actually meet the sun requirement for this day. So it is mathematically possible, but it's very generous. Fortunately, I did come up with another sun producer who I actually feel falls more under the definition of a parasite than Sunbeam, and that is our old overpowered friend, Solar Sage.
What is it? Stay there. I'm coming.
Now, a lot of you guessed that Solar Sage could be counted as a parasite, but very few people actually correctly guessed why. Basically, Solar Sage is a mind that mentally takes over a zombie and causes it to walk in the opposite direction, dropping sun along the way. That alone isn't parasitic. However, what makes it parasitic is the fact that the zombie that it was turned into has the chance of turning other zombies into sages as well, making it infectious and in turn making Solar Sage a micro-parasite. However, like the Summoner playthrough, I only plan on using Solar Sage on missions where it's absolutely necessary, as even though I am in for a much harsher fight than that, there is sun production
I like the sun.
20, where if I just spam them and boost them at the right time, we got a
Oh,
first
Ben.
Day 21, the third sun production day in the
You were my,
which we
you were
once
one of my
again have to
favorite
use
tunes,
Solar
but
Sage
as
for,
became
not
my
only
favorite.
as it is
My most
only
favorite
one
tune in
huge
Sunday
win
is
day,
second.
but it is also
And you will-
55
and your
zombies
turn.
seconds, which Sun Toon Tangler just is not up to the task for. And then we get to day 22, and this is the same day I struggled on greatly, even with the Summoner playthrough. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna be the end of the challenge here, as it's a plan your defense mission with 90% of these hackers being
Why not
humans
Finn?
that
I love
repeatedly
Finn.
shoot out massive waves of extremely violent
It's uncommon. What do you mean I can't get
right in
Finn?
the back line. Now, in normal playthroughs, there are limitless ways to beat this world. However, after extensive testing in previous playthroughs, I am completely certain there is not a single combination of Spore Shroom and Vampircini that wins this. So naturally, that means I'm going back to looking for more possible parasites, and the first idea was Imp, considering it as a parasite for the same reason Sunbeam is, as it turns any zombie that eats it into an imp and causes any imp that eats it to shard itself to death. The debate on whether or not Impair is a parasite is not needed for me though, as I wasn't able to beat it with an imp. So my next stop was Hercules Strain, someone suggested it to me, as it manipulates dinosaurs into doing its bidding, and unlike Hypnostrain, it isn't used by the dinosaur. As of a recent update, it also spawns a raptor to help if there are no other dinosaurs on the field. The raptor did not help early enough to call it worth it though, so then we officially busted out the call power in the channel. You can call both of these social parasites, as they manipulate other organisms into doing their bidding, and they don't benefit the zombie in any way with this action, and once again, like Hypnostrain, they aren't being consumed by the zombie, so they aren't psychedelics. And even with the enchantment buff call powers, they just have absolutely no way to do it. So I was officially entering into desperation mode and trying to rationalize some stupid argument that cheese could count as a parasite, as it requires a zombie to attack it in order to extract. I was able to win with
Simple.
this, stay with it, but
Simple, I will kill you!
however, after searching through pretty much the entire almanac multiple times, I came across a plant that I would count as a parasite. I came across a
You're
plant I
so
would call as a
cute.
parasite for this mission, and that plant
Is that his brain?
Give me your mustard
Is that his brain? Oh wait.
Now, Daisy Chain is a pretty interesting plan with a few gimmicks, but let me explain why it can be seen as a comparison. Daisy Chain is a standard shooting plant that actually grows over time. Each growth cycle causing it to do more damage, and also releasing a form of stun gas. It also releases periodically mustard gas after it reaches its final stage.
I told
However,
you.
what makes it parasitic is that it only grows when it's attacking zombies or zombie items. Not ending them or getting the last hit, but merely dealing damage to zombies is enough to cause Daisy Chain to grow, and it needs to do this to grow as well. Thus, we are looking at a leech-like creature or a false cleaner fish, both of which function as ectoparasites. All in all, I see it perfectly fit to count Daisy Chain, and going all in with it, they were exactly when I needed to beat this thing. Moving on, day 23, we have another Don't Trample the Flowers, and beat 8 zombies in 10 seconds. And I did fail this the first time I shoot a Vampire But round 2, we just spammed Sunday Tangler, had Vampire Chain pre-plays,
Holy
and our
yeah.
friend Daisy Chain dealt with everything else. Day 24,
I will literally break your
Once
bones.
again, I failed it the first time because I didn't budget the sun well enough, but the second time around, I corrected that.
I will break your bones once you
And
do
with day
that one.
25 being us just throwing it back for Zomboss while he screams at me telling me to stop ruining Thanksgiving, we were officially done with Pirate Seas.
Ooh!
Moving on to Wild
Holy shit, I did that without looking. I'm not lying, I'm not lying. If you think I'm lying, I will not come to school tomorrow.
And that is, I just put Sports Room on a minecart and basic on my back before turning in, so I can get an entire fleet of all of free Sports Room. And it actually becomes even easier with the help of Sunday, as it changes standard unarmored zombies into having only one shot left for them, allowing us to more precisely get the Sports Room spawn wherever I want. And that's overall how it went the first several days, with nothing of any significant note happening until day 6, and that's only because it's a play in your defense day with the heavily armored zombies, but with a fully upgraded Daisy Chain with its consistent damage and its stuns, and 3 Sports Rooms helping out whatever way needs them, we were able to get through it perfectly fine. Day 7 went identically to most of the other days, Sports Room and Sunday Tangler Rush, you know the rest, and day 8 was the ultimate battle, mandatory skip.
No.
Day 9 is survive with the given plans. Sunbeam gives out his nudes randomly and has a court case on February 12th, 2026 because of it. Day 10 started off well, but then I remembered that this is the day that releases Chicken Zombie. And it may seem pretty grim because Sports Room, Daisy Chain, and Sundew can all only target a single chicken at once. However, this is where Vampircini actually comes in clutch, because on top of his initial placement dealing AoE damage, when plant food he actually does that blow attack indefinitely, allowing him to serve as a mobile chicken blender, thus saving the whole day from Chicken Zombie. Day 11, brother, another 500 Sunday. We make a single Sports Room and beat the entire day effortlessly. Day 12 was a Juju Corral mission, conveyor belt. Day 13 was supposed to be the introduction of Boltons, but they were stone-locked so viciously by the Daisy Chains and Sundew Tanglers that they couldn't even have a chance to buck the MSOF. Day 14 was a whole bunch of chicken zombies, but they are rendered totally irrelevant by the Vampircini defense grid I had set up. I was actually glad I spent the time to get this thing now, as he ended up saving our skin in Wild West. Day 15 was don't lose more than 2 plants, and that disqualified.
Ah!
So we just ended up using
I'm gonna break your lamp.
because for some reason Sundew Tanglers
I have multiple lamps at home. I'm gonna break them just to see your smile disappear.
which you're supposed to use to stall the waves while you prepare and buck bull zombies off. But I ended up just letting a lawnmower go and played through the rest of the day rather easily. Day 17, another Don't Trample the Flowers, but I forgave the first time, but next time I shamelessly spammed 3 Sports Rooms before changing my
Wow, what? Did I fail a skill check or did you hear nothing? Wait, did I really fail a
So
skill check?
perfectly, once again, the Bulls couldn't even get on the stage. Day 18
Let
was
me
the
ask
infamous
something.
Plan Your Defenses mission for my summoner only playthrough. However, this time around we have more than an adequate simple solution to work the chickens and the prospectors. And with my Daisy Chains in the back and my Vampircinis charging up the nano machines in the front to instance after chickens, we won this day first try. Day 19, lose no
You're the
more than 2
parasite.
plants and spend no more than 2,000 sun. The solution here is pretty easy.
Parasite.
Just pop the 2 backlands full of Daisy Chains and then have 1 Sundew Tangler to help get any armored zombie closer to death.
Brightly, just go!
Overall mission, Sundew Tangler has a
I'm genuinely begging.
chipper. Day 21 is Don't Trample.
What did I do to your family? I mean, I only threatened them. Do not go near the machine!
Day 22, survive with the given plants. Half-Life 3 is never coming out. Day 23, don't lose more than 2 plants or trample the flowers. Horrible time to get a score. I We lost the first time because of it, but one quick correction later, and we were back on track with Daisy Chain and had to generate a whole Lamborghini defense grid just in case. Day 24 was the big heart of the Wild West. A triple protection mission of walnut minecart.
Cosmo, I'm genuinely gonna cut you in front of a strawberry.
Meaning we
I'm
had
gonna
to
cut
not
the
only set
roll
up a
cake in
secondary
front of a
grid
strawberry if you
protecting
don't
the
set the
walnuts, but also have adequate
child
shooters to
friendly,
deal with the
child
bullets
friendly,
before they
child
finish
friendly,
off
child
walnuts.
friendly, child friendly.
Quite a few tries, and I had conceded to just giving up my first lawnmowers to try and appease the situation economic-wise. The eventual solution, though, was after I got my Lamborghini Nano Machines grid set up, was to stack the walnuts on top of each other and giving some Enclave power armor with a plant tube, so my other plants had adequate time to murder.
I love you. She's Asian? But the movie is stink!
Speak a Japanese.
Speak Japanese! Like, what?
Speak a Japanese.
Speak a Japanese!
This into this. You want to make with
Yes,
animals?
This is the original. I'm into male beat. I'm super gay, okay? I know you love my fat dog.
Movie booking with a climate change propaganda.
As the film says, even kids be unknowingly harming animals. If this is a school classroom, shouldn't there be signs and rules not to touch the animals? Anyway, then we're introduced to the main character, Mabel, who's the...
Asian. I'll ship you to Bangkok.
Now, Mabel is a fraud Asian, because what kind of Asian steals animals in class and goes against school policy? So she ends up stealing all the animals and shoves them in her bag without their consent, which is also a form of animal abuse. And also, because she cares so deeply about animals, that means she's vegan, right? Yo, what kind of Asian kid with Asian food is vegan? Have you ever met an Asian kid that says,
I'm a vegan.
ever? That kid's a foreign Asian. Anyway, she gets caught by the janitor, and we see all the teachers at school side-eyeing her because
They don't like her.
are you sure she's an Asian?
Ew.
Hey, I'm a snitch. Really, bro? You a janitor and you care about your job that much? You gonna snitch on a little kid? Shouldn't janitors just be hating their life? So if they even see sus things in school, they just go, meh, I don't get paid enough for this shit, and just keep it pushing. Grown-ass man janitor snitching on a little-ass kid is crazy. And the teachers treat her like she's a wild animal. Rightfully so, because she starts acting like one as the
Asian uses violence.
and bites a member of staff. As Mabel believes hurting people is okay as long as she helps some animals by stuffing them in her bag. Listen, Asian to Asian?
Dishonor to you, dishonor to your family.
Man, what kind of
Yes.
Asian did assault
Dishonor to your sin, dishonor to your
Asian.
dishonor to you. Huh?
Little to no time with her, and Mabel gets
Oh,
fucked up at her back.
okay.
So the film's trying to say if you have two working parents, then it creates
My mom's crazy.
Got it.
You want
And that
some
stupid
fried
doodle.
No way. This why no one likes you. Bye.
Now, my question is, who the hell told her you need to care about animals so much you gotta be willing to use violence on other humans to help them? It turns out this granny had me telling Mabel you can feel better through nature and can't stay mad if you feel like you're part of something bigger. Yay! You hobo? Mm-hmm. Now, the granny seems chill, and despite Mabel spending a bunch of time with Granny, she still grows up arrogant, rude, with no humility or modesty, and has crazy anger issues. And on present day, Mabel makes sure she's not a
I
walking
watched
Asian
this
stereotype in the worst
Worst
way
1
possible
hour
by
of
becoming the
my
most unlikable Pixar character ever. So her granny's dead, and Disney pushes the humans are evil because they cut down trees, so care about climate change propaganda. As the city already agreed and decided on building a new highway, but Mabel's annoying ass tries to stop it, being a nuisance to every worker there who has family they need to feed. Interesting how she cares and loves animals so much while having no empathy towards other humans who are just trying to do their job.
Let's die. No, underwear.
Then we're introduced to the mayor Jerry, who took the initiative to make the highway to be built over the glade. Want rice?
Of course.
And Mabel being extremely
What's a
aggressive,
glade?
yelling, screaming, and being a public nuisance to the city because she cares so much about nature just really isn't what Asians do. You're so annoying.
Yeah, I am.
And this poor mayor's just doing his job to improve and build the city, but Mabel be stalking him to his house, blaming him like he's the sole reason why global warming or animal endangerment is happening in the first place.
This Asian weird.
Now, Jerry says they're building the highway because there are no animals.
No, stupid. Listen.
No, you're being deluded.
Shut up. I'm a sheep.
And turns out there's actually no animals.
Wait, so I am annoying?
And Mabel gets taken by the popo, and Jerry can start a petition and get some signatures, and then he'll hear her out.
Why the fuck did that
Very
scare me,
easily.
but
And
not the
Jerry's only
scream,
making the highway
but not
because everyone else
scream
wants the
from
highway.
movie
That's why he
scream.
wants to get reelected, because he gives the people what they want. So how's Mabel going to take it out on the mayor when it's the whole city that wants the highway built?
This Asian weird.
And Jerry starts aura farming, and yo, that blue dial watch looking nice. I wonder if there are any girls on TikTok making thirst trap edits of Jerry. That'd be pretty funny.
Carol?
Well, I once saw
And to no one's surprise, nobody likes Mabel's annoying
Rant
ass who
of
cares about the
Jerry.
glade, so she doesn't get a single
The
signature.
mayor.
You look at his face, he's like,
Get the hell away from me.
even this guy doesn't like Mabel, so he starts moonwalking. Just to sign here, please.
I can't see shit.
And Mabel finds another Asian and spends the entire day with him in hopes to convince him to sign a petition, only to find out by the end of her yapping, this old man, wrinkle man, has hearing aids.
What'd you say?
You know what? That's on you, Mabel, for not letting him speak and just yapping the whole day. Because if you actually cared what the old dude had to say, you would have found out about his hearing aids pretty damn quickly. I hope you die.
Wait.
And the old man writes on her petition. Mabel celebrates, only to find out that her ass got trolled. And later, Mabel stalks Jerry on social media and is like, why didn't you upload the petition on social media about the way to get signatures instead of doing it all in person?
How the hell are you, Gen Z?
So Mabel rocks up to college to harass a professor while she's in the middle of a lecture, because again, Mabel couldn't care less about other people. So being a nuisance to others while having a weird-ass obsession for nature and animals is why
And you
Mabel's
know how to
character is so
distract.
damn insufferable. Now, the professor confirms there are no animals at the Glade, and the moment the professor gives good intel, telling her only a beaver can save the Glade, that by building a dam you have a pond full of animals, Mabel then yaps over her, spewing her own ideas, and ignores the professor, leaving her ass.
She's so likable.
Then buying some vegetables, she goes to the Glade and puts a rushing water meditation video
What the
on.
heck
thinking
is
that's
the
how
last
to
scene?
and we get a flashback of Mabel's
Nobody
mom
said
saying
to
you
me,
have
"Why
more
are you
opportunities
like
if you come with us."
And I was like,
You
bitch,
just
shut the
says
fuck
this
up or
crap.
I will
It's
kill you.
funny because the very next clip is the granny saying, nope, I don't need your ass at all. As the granny then gives Mabel her jacket and gets her to promise to look after the Glade. So essentially, the
I was
film's
like,
trying to say that
bitch,
the
you
granny
wanna talk about that rude? I will give you rude,
and
bitch.
ignores the veggies, which is who the hell likes to eat
Nobody
veggies,
said
and then it gets
it
picked up by a
was.
mysterious car
It's
so
like,
Mabel chases
you're
after her. And what's
so
funny is the film
rude.
expects us
And
to
I
believe
was
that
like,
Mabel is
boy,
just as fast as
this
the
is
car when riding a skateboard. It's like, yeah, I'm sure she is. But then she sees the beaver sitting up and goes,
What the?
and finds out that her professor in some no-name university has the technology to allow human consciousness to hop into robotic animals.
I'm stealing this.
You want
No,
to?
wait.
So Mabel keeps being useless to others, thinking she's doing such a righteous thing protecting the beaver when it's robotic. And why is this professor so kind and just tells Mabel everything? Like, Mabel harasses you, takes your life work, doesn't listen to
Where the fuck is the last scene? Under the ground?
and let her know
Under the
everything.
ground.
Speak in Japanese.
I'm
This into this.
And we learn the professor's a furry, dressing up as
Goodbye.
animals in hopes